Late in 1895, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen first noticed the strange effect which led to the announcement of his discovery of X-ray.
They remained a mystery even to the scientists. That is how they got their name, X for the unknown.
Have you seen the news about, I don't know if it's like my social media feeds, but aliens. What are your thoughts on aliens? You think they're real? You think they've been here?
Well, I went through a big alien phase when I was younger. But now that the government's saying they're real, it's highly sus. I'm like,
super.
All right, that's probably all BS.
Especially when we have real non-human biologic
I'm like,
in our lab.
Then listen, this is coming from a guy that I have all 13 seasons on DVD of X-Files. Okay, I want to believe.
Dang.
But I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I've always said it. I definitely believe.
I saw a legit documentary about a UFO that went down and by legit, I mean completely not legit at all, but it went down
in Brooklyn,
South America.
Oh,
and there was like a whole town, and here's why I'm bringing it up. There's a whole town that like they're all on the same page. Like it crashed, they saw a vehicle, there's people. It seems credible. And I mention it because this one guy, so he's a soldier. He's telling a story of how they brought the alien into the hospital and it got X-rays. Yeah. I was like, let's go. Some X-ray tech, like,
oh, nice.
If it's legit, there's some X-ray tech there's like, yeah, man, I did like an AP shoulder on him and a scapular Y.
Or
actually, fun fact, aliens have a scapular
trauma
X.
hit. Trauma hit.
Yeah. Or that tech's not alive. Government guy.
definitely a possibility. But let me ask you this: you're chilling at work.
Government.
You're chilling out. Flipping through Candy Crush, doing your thing, liking everything that the Catholic jockeys put out there on Instagram. You're buying us a few drinks, and then like printer comes off. You're like, what is a 12-view chess? What is that? A bunch of government people come with a thing in a bag, and they're like X-ray. And they even asked the person, like, they took the X-rays and
don't
then
even look at it.
That's what they said. That's what he said. That's what he said. I was like, he must have been really good at positioning.
Exactly. Like, what am I holding right now? Is this a dead cat?
Yeah.
What's going on?
He probably got Men in Black.
Oh, dang.
Maybe.
I forgot the MIB factor. That's totally right.
Because he had her interview saying that thing, so he
it wasn't the tech. This was like a soldier that brought it in to be X-rayed. But I wish I could find the name of it. It was a wild documentary. Yeah. So I want to believe. I'm one of those guys, man. I'm always watching this. Want to
believe? Shoot, they're real. Come on.
Oh, we got breaking news.
We're not that special.
Yeah, we're the only living.
All right.
You want to hear my far out theory?
What's your far out?
This is like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, well,
thinking is.
Go ahead.
By the time aliens come here,
and
we see a glimpse of them, and then we realize that they've already gone and traveled millions of years, because by the time that we've actually realized that something happened, they're already so far in the future that by the time we comprehend it, is like our blimp of time is incomprehensible, like quantum dimension, like oh, they've been here for like hours, but really we think they're going so fast, like flying through, because they're just like time has already gone so.
They could
so
also
fast
be instead of like aliens from another planet.
Wait, who is that? Whose voice is that? You haven't even introduced him.
That looks.
Oh yeah,
is that?
Yeah, we're coming.
Who is that? Is it Prof B?
We have ED on the phone.
Oh man,
ladies and gentlemen,
I forgot.
Tell him, Rose.
Hey, but before we even get to that, quick question. Actually, you know what? I'll make it a hot take.
Go ahead.
Welcome back, everybody. Rosilla Rankin, aka Dramatic, from shout out to Tony Ann. from Wisconsin.
Hello, Tony.
Rosella, we got Jujuno John in the house.
Jazzy
Jujuno John. We got Photon.
Gingivitis John.
Very. Gingivitis John. We got.
Good thing it's remote.
Proton.
Photon Patty Pat.
Photon.
Proton.
Let's go. I'll take it.
Photon Beam. I think I upgraded you
So
to
go.
Photon.
Let's go.
But our numero uno, we got Angry Eddie back on the show. He came out of retirement for this show because you know why? Because
Slightly
I fucking made
Angry
him.
I was about to say, when you mean came out of retirement, do you mean harassed by Roosevelt?
I made him harassed out of retirement
hiatus.
every day.
Hiatus.
Hey, yep, hiatus. There we go.
On a leave of
I like
absence.
that.
Busy.
That's
What
how,
you been
that
doing,
makes you
man?
sound fancy.
Tell the people. Tell the people he's been working on like plays and short movies
films
and what do you call it, Eddie?
Screenplays and
Short films.
I want to be
Yeah. Eddie's like all into that.
I'd like to be a writer and director.
Kind?
You know, so all kinds.
Nice.
Right now,
He just doesn't like being
I like being
on
behind the scenes.
the mic.
Why?
But he's
You
very
you have a
talented
lot to
on the
offer the
mic.
world. You have a lot to offer the world. Why?
I have a lot to.
you know,
I have a
let
lot
yourself
to
shine.
offer behind the scenes, also.
I used to. I know. I used to do like in college. I did stuff for the theater program, and it was all behind the scenes. I just didn't have the guts to go like on stage and remember our lines.
Yeah,
I like doing light and sound. It's
it's a lot of fun.
Writing
That was
is
my
super
only
hard.
friend
Though.
that
It is hard.
Yeah. The screenplays, I don't know how people come up with that stuff. Like
I'm gonna be
everyone's
in it.
lines.
He's gonna let me be in it. I want to be dead body number one.
DB1.
He's gonna let me be dead body number one.
That
Are you going to be in a body bag too?
The
So you have
gasps.
a nice cameo?
Oh,
he's going to be a dead body that gasps. Air gets released from one of his
Yeah.
one of his orifices.
Ooh.
like practice.
So you're working full time, Eddie, and you're on a ton of call. Is like writing? Is that like your like escape, or is it just like meditative, or what's the motivation behind it? Like, what are you writing? Where does it go to? What are you doing with it?
I would say it's like a hobby, but I would definitely like it to be more than a hobby if I could. Like, but it's
Yeah, that's nice. It's good to have those outlets, man.
It's like, I don't know, it's just something I enjoy doing. I enjoy coming up with story ideas and just putting it all together and working with other writers that I work with and just mixing our ideas together. So
Really? You work with other people doing it?
yeah. I have like a writing team pretty much.
So are you on strike right now with the rest of Hollywood?
Team, bro.
We're not contracted, so.
Bro, you scabbing right now,
I
bro?
wish. If anybody out there in Hollywood is
All
listening.
right, Eddie.
Love it.
Check it out, man. I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna start a hot seat. First of all, hey, do you believe in aliens?
Yes, I do believe in aliens, and I also believe that possibly they could also be multi-dimensional beings.
Yeah, man, that's really confusing. But
That's why I stopped watching the
Supposed
Marvel movies.
yo, do you think that I feel like they will probably wipe us out if they could. Maybe they're like too advanced. They're like, we don't really need them right now. We're way advanced. We don't need those resources. Blah blah blah. But if they did wipe us out, do you think they need certified X-ray techs for their anal probes?
Oh, for sure. You gotta localize that.
Of course.
Good call, Rose.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
You
Can't
got
take our
job
jobs.
security. Job
Unless they
security.
have X-ray vision. If they have X-ray vision,
I think we're more
done.
like cute monkeys. We're
We're
like a
done.
zoo. Like they come down and they just look at us and they're like, "Oh, look at these less developed
we don't treat
creatures."
monkeys very well.
We're gonna be
Been to the
their
zoo?
we're gonna be their lab. We're gonna be their lab monkeys that helps with their rectal.
As
probing.
long as it leads to rectal probing, huh?
What is this obsession with the rectum here?
That's what they
You
do.
learn a lot from
He's
someone's
really
right?
rectum.
He's really dialed in on it.
Pat, did we get on the right podcast tonight?
What's up, y'all?
Welcome to
Is this After Dark?
welcome to
Catherine
Bare
Jackies After Dark.
Welcome to Bare Minimum with Aliens.
This is the Joe Reckon Show podcast. How's it going?
Ah, man, I miss you guys. But for everyone out there, sorry about the hiatus of recording. We have a lot to record. It's
I'm
just
not
that
sorry. Listen, we're
Rosie's
doing stuff.
been really busy.
We're working. Roosevelt's working on a
Should we
degree. John is playing a lot of
Should we tell
Listen, we're busy.
Cornholio?
Sorry, kind of sorry.
And Roosevelt just got out of jail.
Oh,
yes.
all right,
That
well,
slip.
cut that. He said it not to ask. He said not to say that.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, my bad.
Why do you think
Prison.
he's on a rectal probing thing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of
He's still
that,
got soap up there.
that's the reason why I went to prison. I was trying to be proactive.
I did miss you
but
guys.
with probing.
Proactive probing.
Love it.
Oh man. Anyways, welcome back, man. So check this out. We've been absent for a little bit. Yes, that is true. We have a lot of new listeners here and there. There's a ton of people discovering us. Thank you guys for all the comments
so much.
and messages. Love it so much. So there's a lot of things that happen in our daily lives that sometimes I like to divulge and talk about on the show. But before I do that, does anybody have a good show or a good story for the pod?
Anyone?
I got a story.
Drop it on
Eddie
us, man.
always has a story.
Eddie's stories.
Hey, you know what's messed up? I want to Eddie accused me of stealing his candy.
Uh-oh.
Accused
No,
me.
I
We're
didn't
friends.
accuse you. I asked
He
you.
thought I
just
stole
asked.
his candy.
I asked
He's
if
like,
you took
hey,
the
you stole
candy.
my candy, bro. I was like, I did not.
I feel like this is Doritos all
Very
over
similar,
again.
but
Let's hear
no,
it.
actually not at all because they weren't even out. They were in my personal cabinet, but it does not have a lock.
Bro, that's legit theft.
Yeah. The only problem though is it does.
Don't
That's
touch
not
your
like confusion
servers.
over like,
It doesn't have a lock.
is this
so-
community candy? That's legit theft.
But and I believe it happened after hours.
He's like, Roosevelt, did you come after hours and steal my hard candy? I was like, no, you should know me better. If I was going to steal something,
Well,
I'll do it in
that's
front of your
he always
face.
does it. I always see him when I'm scrubbed in.
That's an alpha move.
He walks in and he'll take some candy out and he smiles and takes the candy. So I was curious if maybe he grabbed the candy.
I don't smile, dude. I look at him straight in the eye and stare him for a good 5 solid seconds and then like smirk and then walk the heck out.
Bro, that's legit.
Dang. Core.
Anyways, go ahead,
Well,
man.
it actually has to do with the EVS department. So
I definitely know what that stands for.
Angry
but
Eddie,
will you
man. This is what I'm telling you about, man.
Will you let
Angry
the
Eddie's
rest of the
back.
audience know what
He's
EVS
throwing-
stands for?
Throwing shots.
it is environmental services, which is like a fancy word for a custodian.
Sure.
Which is also a fancy
Yeah,
word for janitor.
exactly. But
Hardworking crew.
Just
they
kidding,
are.
we love-
We do
just kidding,
love
we
them,
love
and
you
they're a
guys.
hardworking crew. But they shouldn't be eating in a procedure room. So the one of
I've done it. I mean, I've done it. I'm a full disclosure.
one of our nurses brings in a patient to our room and she's getting stuff set up, and I go to walk in and I look to my right. On our procedure table is an EVS worker just
Uh-oh.
leaning with her lunchbox there, drink out, phone plugged into the wall,
Oh man,
just
look
scrolling the social
Let's go.
medias, and just
at- like in Catheter Jockeys on Instagram, Catheter_Jockeys.
probably. And
Probably.
she's not paying any attention that a nurse brought in a patient to the room. She didn't pay any attention that I walked in and that I walked out. Went and grabbed a coworker and was like, "Hey, you got to come see this." Me and the coworker walk in. She's still sitting there scrolling through her phone. So my coworker goes, "Excuse me, can we help you?" And she looks up at my coworker, annoyed, like very annoyed, and goes, "No." And then goes straight back to her phone and just starts scrolling on her phone again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Bold move.
Wild. Bro, Gen Z, dude, they don't.
I
they
was
do
like-
not care. They do not care.
I was like, well, I was like, well, I'm
We do
sorry.
not care. Okay.
Us Gen Zers do not care at all. No cap. Bussin', y'all.
I was like, I'm sorry, you can't have food in a procedure room. And she like went and like did like a huff and a puff and grabbed all her stuff and then walked out like I just ruined her day.
well, what was she eating
I
specifically?
couldn't really see. It was like she just kind of had her lunchbox out.
Oh,
And so I was just
was she eating like a
I-
PB&J?
I was more
Or like
surprised that
egg
she
salad?
didn't react to a patient coming into a room. Like
Bro, an IR room. Like,
that's
she did not know how to read the room. Like, hey,
Can I
what are you
diagnose?
doing
Can I
into,
diagnose Gen
like-
Z? Can I tell you what's wrong with Gen
Oh
Z?
yeah.
Too confident.
Yeah.
I would be so embarrassed and like humbled and like, oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. They're just like, no, this is my secret lunch desk, which is, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've wolfed down a Cliff Bar in a procedure room, but I do it kind of fast because it feels gross. You're just like,
Bro,
there's
but you
blood in
work
there.
there.
yeah.
You work there.
But it sounds like you
You
stumbled
work there.
upon her secret lunch.
It was just
I mean, do you guys have
rando.
lunch spots where you go, or do you like go to the?
yeah,
Do you go to the caf with the?
we
certain
have a
group of people?
cafeteria and we have designated break rooms. Each department has
Do
designated
you-
break rooms.
Oh, I'm so I'm
I mean,
fascinated
she's
with your
probably
guys'
ate there
lunch.
before. Yeah.
Now, what do you do? I'm super curious about John and Rose because like you're an in between the rads and the techs. Like, do you have
Bro,
to?
we eat
do
on
you
the
eat
go.
alone a lot?
Mhm.
We
Or do you
don't
eat with the
know.
docs?
Sit in my
We eat-
office and it's always cold. Sit in my office and just eat when you
We
can.
eat mid procedure, man. Like I'll eat.
Ma'am,
Then I get
Right,
Eddie.
yeah.
I get
Hold your breath.
Eddie opening the door. Hey. Eddie's like, hey, we got a procedure in room 2. I'm like, all right. And I'll just sit there and try to like finish something, and then
like
Eddie
wolf it
just
down.
chills back
No,
there. No, Eddie waits because he knows when he waits.
If I
get
don't-
up.
Yeah, if I don't sit there
Does
and
that
watch
shit on
him,
purpose.
it'll be like an hour before he comes.
Oh,
I gotta watch him get
I
up
believe it.
out of his chair, and then I'll hold the door open for him.
What do you do, Eddie? Do you eat with coworkers or do you eat alone?
No, I usually eat alone.
or do you
Eddie's
eat
so-
on
I
the
usually eat
procedure table?
alone. I like to get out of the hospital, take a break, like just get away from everything.
You leave? Where you going? Like going for a quick Chipotle run? or
There's
where you
a
going?
Publix right across the street. And,
Break room
I
bathroom.
usually run over to the Publix. They got a nice hot steer.
It is nice to kind of get out, like get a little break. As I got more into like leadership, I like wanted more like lunches alone, which 75% of the time where it was nice little break. I'm not having to put out fires, but 25% of the time it was really depressing. It was just like me hovering over a ham Sammy, looking up jobs on
Yeah,
Indeed.
man. You yeah. You have to like like I find myself needing to get the heck out of the hospital. Like
Yeah,
I
I like
have
it,
to
yeah.
feel sunshine,
Fresh
I need
air.
fresh air. I
It's
can't
important.
do it anymore.
Well, like
man.
we work in
I'll
an
go
area.
insane.
We work in an
Now I
area where
just
there's no
find my little-
windows, so like we don't see outside. We don't see anything. It's just like we're just stuck in.
Why do they do
we're
that
stuck
to us? I
inside.
mean, I know why. It's
So it's nice to get out.
I see Eddie.
it's crazy.
You got to run from the.
Say,
I see Eddie
hey,
behind
there's
me
a procedure
and in front of
ready
me.
for you.
I'm like,
Is that how it goes
Pretty
down?
much.
Can you guys reenact it right now? Like,
No, I don't knock.
hey,
he doesn't knock. He just opens.
did you call him
the door.
Roosevelt?
Am
Did
I
you call
back?
him Ricky Rose or Sir or Doctor? What do you call him?
You just say, get into room 3 now. No.
I usually I hear the door open. I usually have my back turned because like I'm like, dang it, it's for us. It's always for us. And I know his footsteps. So I just look at the computer, finishing what I'm doing or eating. and then he'll say it, and I'm like, all right.
No, I always bump
Sure,
the back
sure,
of your
sure,
chair. I come in and I tap the back of your chair.
I know his footsteps though.
Subtle power move. I like it. You're like assaulting him. I dig it.
Yeah. That was a great story. Yeah,
I couldn't
man, that was
believe it.
wild when he told
yeah,
me.
just like
And
the
I was like,
audacity
wow.
of somebody. Like I would have like if it was me and I was in an area of the hospital I'm not supposed to be in, and somebody walks in with a patient, I'd have been like, "Oh my god, this isn't the laboratory. What am I doing here?"
Dude,
Wait,
that's
this
just
isn't
like
the
us.
cafeteria?
Oh,
I'm
it's
so
an empty
sorry.
room. Yeah.
That's just like us going into patient's room randomly.
just
on
start
the floor,
eating.
just eating.
Yeah.
Right?
And then like transport brings the patient back in. I'm like, oh hey, what's up? And just sitting there.
Oh, this is your room.
Well, that's
Oh, okay,
even
cool. The
acknowledging
beef
that somebody
stew was
walks
great.
in. They didn't even acknowledge like the person coming in. Like they just were in their own little world. I guess that's what is it when they're when they're the star character? What do they call that? When they're the lead character. They're the lead character of their own world.
Yeah.
Lead character in their own movie,
Wild.
man. Do you think she posted that on like
Oh, I'm sure she
the
complained. Oh
social?
yeah,
She's like,
my lunch just got ruined.
just
Yeah,
got
probably.
interrupted by
Some
having
rude people
free
just
chips.
interrupted my lunch.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, the audacity of them having to treat patients in this room. Jeez. I have a story. And
Does it have to do with
let's go.
anal probing?
this story? No. I got over that. That time in
Got that. Got that.
in the valley. Straighten me out. Do not anal probe. when do not. All right. Never
Always carry lube.
mind. Anyways,
Yep.
Don't worry, we'll cut that. No, I'm kidding.
Complete cut.
we never cut anything. So happened this week. So I want to go consent a patient. Patient was Spanish speaking. I didn't know. I don't assume they only speak Spanish.
Watch it.
Go to the patient and speak to the patient. So the patient is confused. I'm like, oh, my nurse is like, oh, he need a translator. He only speaks Spanish. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Right. So my Spanish speaking nurse comes over and speaks to him, and he goes, he speaks in Spanish, but during his conversation with my nurse, there's ching chong, ching chang chong
Got that.
in the conversation, and I was like, I'm getting really offended right now.
I've seen
Wait.
that
Let's
movie. I know what that
clarify.
means.
They actually said that,
The patient.
or are
the
you
patient.
being okay? Ooh,
No.
I'm
I'm not being. Yeah. So the patient was doing that, and my nurse was like, "Wait, what?" And I hear she's like, "No, he speaks English. He speaks English,
Whoa.
right?"
And didn't they repeat
And
it?
it was English, and yeah. So he repeated it like, no. All I heard was ching chong, ching chong, ching chong, whatever. And she's like, that's racist. And he goes, in Spanish, I've been racist for 70 something years. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And yeah. So I looked at
Thank
my
you,
nurse. I was
sir.
like, does he understand? Yeah, I was like, does he understand that I'm the provider that's doing this procedure for him right now? I was like, I don't know if he understands that or not, but
Jeez,
I was like,
what a jerk.
and ching chong in Spanish is still ching chong in English.
Hello.
Like I got the gist. I understood it.
Jeez.
Like you weren't gonna.
That's
For like the whole
like
day,
you
I was
weren't
just
gonna
like making
understand
fun
what
of
he
it.
was saying.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Oh man.
I was like, you know what? And you know what I did?
You treated him
Here's what I did.
like every other patient excellently.
Exactly.
Ah,
I treat
let's
him very
go. Let's go. You got to. Because how many times have you been in those situations where a patient's just crossing lines? We're talking they're 50-yard dashing over lines, and
Mm-hmm.
it's such a hard thing to do. Might be the hardest thing to do, but you got to curb Your anger. Now there's a fine line. If they're the older I got, the more confidence I got. Where it's like, hey, I'm not going to put up with any kind of abuse. I'll remove myself from the situation or this or that. But if I could handle it, I would still act, professional. And it's hard to not get emotional in those situations. But my goodness, my hat's off to you for restraining yourself, because I'd be straight up pissed. I mean, that's just not right.
Dude, but I was just like, is this happening right now? I was like, man, I'm like trying to explain to him the procedure, trying to take care of him. Is he really saying ching chong to me right now?
Yeah, that's not cool. What a jerk.
But yeah, but whatever. But that brings us to our segment today.
Wait, I have a story. Can I do a
What?
story? Yeah, I have a story.
Yeah. Yes, you can tell a story. But
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
it brings us to today's episode.
Yes.
Angry Part 2. Go ahead, Patrick.
This is
Angry Eddie's back.
This is less of a story and more of a confession. So, Summer.
All right, Usher, let's go.
Got the
Coming out. Coming out.
This is I really don't know how to say this. I'm afraid of public shame and embarrassment. I'm not proud of it, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone out there. But me and my family, this is a big announcement here, only on Catholic Jockeys, a Rad Tech podcast.
Uh-oh.
And before I make this huge announcement, because I know this is going to get millions of views, if you could buy us a drink and help this show keep going, that would be awesome. Go check out our socials.
Yes, help support
the pod.
Help support the most entertaining radiology podcast in the world.
All right.
Disclaimer.
I'm,
that we're aware of.
That we're aware.
I don't know how to say this. I'm a reptile person now. I own a bearded dragon now. All right.
I thought we were.
The wife and kids. The wife and kids. It's. I'm like embarrassed it, so I cropped it out. But I'll move the camera for the socials. There's a little reptile cage there. We have a bearded dragon in the Patrick household. It feels weird because we're like a reptile people now. Like, I wish you could see Roosevelt's face right now. He's just like, ew.
I thought we were bringing it back to the alien thing.
Nah, man. I just I get the vision of pulling that thing out of its ear or nose or cloaca or whatever that is.
I don't. I didn't know how to do that. I might get rid of this thing. I didn't know, but the fam caught me in a moment of weakness and
shave the beard.
I thought you were going to say that you believe.
Authorized.
I thought you were going to say that you believe in the reptilian people. I thought you were going to bring it back to the alien.
Well, if they do exist,
there probably is a species,
right?
An advanced species of that kind.
It feels weird. It feels weird.
So what's his name?
I feel like his name is Griffin, short for Gryffindor. My older son,
Harry Potter fan. Huh?
I'll do a big Harry Potter.
I thought it was short for Peter.
No.
Peter Griffin.
But I feel like I went to this is so embarrassing. We went to a reptile convention. A lot of interesting people there. And as I looked around at
no shame, don't worry.
A wide swath of human beings and reptiles, I go, oh man, a lot of interesting people here. I'm like, I'm one of them. Like, are people looking at me like, what's this guy doing here? What's this guy doing with a bearded dragon on his left shoulder? So we got a bearded dragon. It's
they're probably like that beardy's weak looking. Son, get out of here.
Was that the cost of admission?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it feels weird because it's I don't know.
But he's got a lot of personality. We have an RA friend that breeds pythons, so
and he lets them go in the Everglades.
Yeah.
What?
Nah,
to people who let him go in the Everglades.
I think my bearded dragon is non-GMO, but
he has a whole shack and stuff, like a whole other house for it.
Dang, snake
house.
Tons.
Yeah.
So do you take it on walks or what do you do with it?
Yeah, so
we have a leash for it. Do, bro? I don't.
We have a leash for it.
I don't want anything scaly or slimy, man. Ugh.
I know it's weird.
They're not slimy, not so much.
you know. No.
What, the
All right,
bearded
I feel better
dragons?
getting that off.
Bearded
How do they
dragons
feel?
are
Do they feel
cool.
spiky?
So wait. We're still on the dragon. So what do you
Crickets,
feed it?
That's another thing. Like I was like, oh, like this would be pretty low maintenance. It's like it's a lizard. They're running around all around in my neighborhood. They're doing just fine. We gotta
Mhm.
buy. We
Yeah,
gotta buy
bearded dragons in your neighborhood?
No, like lizards.
Yeah, like baby lizard.
We
What
have to
the-
feed.
what's going
You have to feed
on?
it like
Mhm.
live bugs. You have to feed it like roaches and worms.
crickets,
And yeah, I have a. I can't believe I'm saying this. We're gonna have to cut. this.
Hashtag,
I have a roach farm in my house now. Yeah.
What?
So not
Don't you
doing
have
well,
dogs? Don't you
fellas.
have a
Not
dog,
doing
too?
well. Yeah, we got
Don't you have
dogs.
dogs?
Pretty sure there's a cat.
I
running
don't
just-
they
around
eat
somewhere.
lettuce also?
I see the dog and the cat knocking your roach farm over,
Wow.
spilling all over your house.
Yeah, we got a
The
lot.
dragon's gonna get upset. It's
gonna
gonna
be like
break,
MIB
break out of the
1.
cage. Yeah.
Do they eat lettuce
Jumanji in your
also?
house.
Yeah, that's
Ugh.
getting there. Yes, thank you. Oh man. Yes, they well let us know. Not as much nutrients in there. It's mostly water. So we got to buy this guy collard greens.
Ah,
This guy,
Oh.
yeah, it's a whole thing. Way more high. Thank God my wife takes care of like
Wait,
most of it. By most of it, I
how
mean
does-
like 110% of it. God bless her. I love her. Love you, babe. Because it's like, listen, and it's like a temperature control. It's a whole thing. And we can cut this whole thing because I really don't need the public knowing. I have
No,
a
this
persona,
is-
guys.
this is
People
very
think I'm cool.
interesting.
No way. People love this segment.
Story time with Angry Eddie and the Cather Jockeys. Yeah, but it feels weird. Feels weird being a lizard guy.
I just don't like snakes.
I caught a
I used
baby
to
alligator
catch
once.
snakes when I was a kid.
That's cool.
Or a teenage alligator. It was dumb. I was just bobbing my bobber around, hooked it.
It was dumb. We won't apologize to any
Did you?
alligators
Speaking
out
of
there.
gators, did you see that they? This is me being dumb, but a CT scan or MRI of the gator.
Oh, I saw.
No, I
I saw
haven't seen
the thing of that.
No.
Why did they
Yeah,
do this?
at University of Florida?
Just because they're like, let's mess around today.
I think he had like an ear infection or something. Hold on.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's been a resident of the St. Augustine Alligator Farm for 20 years. 376-pound Brooke, or the gator's name is Brooke,
It's a female?
had recently been exhibiting symptoms including intermittent head rolling in the lagoon.
Wow.
It's a he, where he lives. I shouldn't have said. And then they drew blood, sent it off for labs, and then got x-rays and a CT scan. And you know what it turned out? An ear infection. Now Brooke is on the way to recovery.
Dang
So let's see here. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, man. I guess when I have like my ears itchy, I roll around.
What does an ear infection look like on a CAT scan?
Swelling,
Probably just fluid
Edema.
in the
fluid.
eustachian tube.
Oh, wow.
Can you see it?
You guys have
Yeah.
upgraded on your technology.
Dang. I did not see that at all.
Dang, up in the Toshiba.
Go Gators.
That's pretty sweet, right? Gator in the gator.
Wow. That's wild.
Do you think the gator knows that, like, oh yeah, the humans help me out. I'm not gonna eat them at all.
Nah, they're like
I'm not gonna be aggressive towards them at all.
probably the opposite. They're like, I got your name, man. I'm gonna eat you.
I know what you
chance I
smell
get.
like.
First chance I get. You smell like bod spray from Walmart, currently on sale, and you smell like Celsius.
Brute.
Celsius.
Brute. The brute. You guys remember Brute?
Remember it. I'm wearing it
was
right
like in
now.
a
Roosevelt.
blue
Oh, yeah.
plastic
No,
bottle.
it was
Like,
it was
everybody's
green.
first, like,
Oh.
aftershave.
It was
That's the green
green.
spray.
Yeah,
yeah.
Brute is green.
Blue green? No, it was green and blue.
Green spray
There's
can,
two.
yeah. That's what I had.
That was two.
It was so overpowering.
You smell like a grandpa. That was like you used to get that in like your Christmas stocking or something when you were like 5.
Oh yeah. This whole like 5 little things of
Like that or Old
yeah,
Spice.
the good old days. The good
Cool.
old days.
The before times.
Back to Angry Eddie's pet peeves. Angry Eddie, what do you have today? We the people want it. Be uncensored. We need unhinged.
I'm not that angry.
You start out.
Go ahead, start out. I'm
start.
slightly angry.
What's bugging you, Rose? Get it off your chest, man. I mean, you already got one thing off your chest.
I do have a pet peeve.
Shoot, man.
My pet peeve is technologists who don't know how to read the room. John, what the fuck?
Case in point,
That was your edit. What's going on? Read the room, John.
Roosevelt's been doing more editing of the podcast, and you're a lot of work, John. Between your incessant breathing directly in the microphone, quiet voice, and move the microphone around, you're a lot of work.
It's well, I was trying to get it
always
in a better
John.
position so it wouldn't touch the table.
Why don't you try to keep it
We can
still?
always-
Shut your mouth. You know, I got a pet peeve right now. Come on.
Editing could be 2 hours if John didn't make any noise.
I swear he's beatboxing right now. He's like, what are you actually doing right now?
I could make this worse for you,
He could.
Dude, it's gonna be fun. Oh my gosh.
But seriously,
Can't read.
technologists do not know how to read the room. Let me prime
Give me an example. Lay it on me.
This did not happen recently or anything. This is a few years
Hypothetical.
ago.
Okay.
Hypothetical.
Which means this happened yesterday.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Going to procedure with one of my strongest technologists, CD technologists, right? And
Shout out to Shirley.
the phone rings, right? Phone rings. She answers the phone, or he answered the phone.
Definitely a shout.
And it was a patient on the phone asking about contrast, blah blah blah, being sent to whatever, like dealing the whole normal spiel of the patient was upset. So being a good technologist that he or she was, and she took care of it. However, but she's also caught in a bind of like trying not to anger this patient that's already upset on the phone and trying to help me do this procedure, this chest tube. So I'm sitting here, she's on the phone. I'm like looking at her, I'm like, hey, I don't know what else to do. I'm trying to find a situation, but I'm like looking like at the other technologists across the room who just sitting there on their phone, like not reading the situation. And I was getting upset. I was like, doing a procedure here. Do you want to take over or not?
Oh man.
Patient needs a chest tube. Clearly, stat. You want to? No, cool. You're good. You're good. You're waiting on the tube to warm up or something. All right, cool. All right, cool. But yes, that is one of my.
It's rough, man.
That's a very big pet peeve. You're just so involved in your like social media phone situation going on that you don't see that your colleague is doing the work and on the phone.
That's rough. I mean, is it really bad now? Is it bad? Like, I don't know. I know everyone rails on phones, but you got people not reading the room.
Yeah, it's bad if you don't understand like professionalism. Like you guys still, like whatever you have people. Everyone has it, right? The phones. It's a thing because we don't just like do nonsense. I mean, you also look up stuff, right? Like
absolutely.
So,
what does PIN line stand for?
The person was just oblivious, man. I was like, "What's going on, man? Do you understand that this person is on the phone and trying to work the CT scanner and trying to help me in this chest tube placement right now?"
It's a time and a place to use your phone. Like when you're waiting for the patient to come down and you got everything ready, go ahead and scroll social media. That's fine, but it's like
here, Catholic Jockeys, we did not condone that during work time.
Yeah, we definitely don't recommend liking everything that we do, sharing it on your stories, commenting, hitting that link in bio so you can
technically Catholic Jockeys is radiology. So if you're looking for radiology sources, you can go on our IG, Facebook, TikTok page and look for the answers you're inquiring.
All right, you know what? Let's good turnaround. We do condone it.
If you have a patient in the room, you should not be on your phone at all. Like,
true,
not at all.
I concur.
Like, there shouldn't be any reason other than maybe you're looking up a medication for some weird, odd reason, but you usually have a computer right there in front of you.
You know what? I got a pet peeve. This is going to tie right into it. Phones.
Do it.
All right? Just phones at work. Here's why.
When we talk about phones, we're talking about Androids.
Wow. Shooting shots fired.
For those of you on here,
Talk about how jealous you are of us cool people.
Androids don't have podcast apps yet on them, so nobody on there is listening. But for all you iPhone users,
we got everything that you have. And more.
you also have a bunch of
And
sketchy
more
apps that
users.
people just put up there.
Yeah.
That flashlight app that's going to steal all your data. Yeah, you got that too. Here's all right.
I'm pretty sure every app steals all your data.
Yeah, touche. I'm just as addicted as the next guy, so I'm not trying to be holier than thou. I'm just liking everything that the Catheter Jockeys is doing. Catheter_Jockeys on Instagram, Catheter Jockeys on TikTok, Catheter Jockeys on Facebook. I'm doing the same thing as everybody else. I'm not better than. But here's what bums me
Don't
out.
forget OnlyFans.
Back in the before times, in the late 1900s, or early aughts, as I like to say. Any excuse to use aughts is awesome. Sitting there waiting for patients, or you finally get a break. I don't know. You young bucks don't know about that, but before every practitioner ordered 50 million CAT scans on every single human being that came in there, there was what you used to call downtime. You guys don't know about that anymore because there is no downtime because you're short staffed and they're just ordering CAT scans on everybody. But you would get bored. You would get bored at work. And when you're bored at work in a room with John and maybe Eddie and Roosevelt, you kind of get to know each other. You get to talk to each other, see some of their likes and interests. And if you got really bored, you'd be like, hey man, you want to like hang out later? Like on our day off? Now, when we get free time, we just go right on our phones. And I think it really creates like a lack of connection. Because I was just having this conversation with somebody today. Some of the most productive I've ever been in my entire career. What my main motivation was for being a good coworker was helping out the tech to my left and the tech to my right. Like it wasn't necessarily, I mean, I'll just say it. The patients benefited from this. The hospital benefited from it. What got me showing up and not calling out and doing my best was because I didn't want to disappoint my coworker because we were actually like friends. I mean, I don't know. So many of my actual friends started out as work friends or school friends or whatever. I mean, heck, we're doing a podcast with some work friends because we became actual friends. Are people actually becoming friends, or are they just keeping it at work? Like, because like I said, it's hard to connect if you're on your phone all the time. And I get it. I'm addicted as the next guy. But I think of a big source of a lot of problems that people have at work is because they don't really have a connection with their coworkers. I mean, am I reading the room? Am I to give it a throwback to you, Rose? Am I reading the room wrong? Like, are people actually pretty close, or is this disconnection a real thing?
I think that using the phone sometime is another way to actually get to know your coworker too.
Go ahead.
Because believe it or not,
You're sitting there, you text each other across the room.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, that too. But you have, I think if you're going to have to speak to that person, and eventually you'll find something in common. Find some commonality. So you go on the social media or something or a website. You're like, hey, check out this meme. We get it together. Get it? Ha ha ha. Yeah. So you're doing stuff like that. You're showing videos, or hey, look, this sale, or
hey, look,
skateboarding thing.
You got to check this podcast out. It's awesome.
Exactly.
Let's go. So let me ask you this: do you guys have any?
There.
Let me ask you, right now, as we live and breathe in 2023, are you like legit actual friends with people that you work with?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like hanging out, chilling.
That's why Eddie's on the pod.
Yep. Eddie hasn't been here a long time, so y'all ain't that close. But
at the end of the month,
it's also different.
Besides the compensation where you're,
it's also different when it's your point in time in life, like your time in life. So it's not.
That's
like,
true. That is true.
Like
we got kids.
I would love to go hang out and have a beer with Eddie and see all you guys, but Like,
Well, we have before though. Like we've met at Disney and have drinks at Disney. I've had drinks with your family.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
true.
I'm also at the end of this month. I'm about to go on vacation for an extended weekend with some people I used to work in X-ray with.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
So I think it's still there. I think it's just different.
It is, yeah.
Also, I think there's an age gap.
I think it also
Between
depends on
technologists
like
as well.
how like if you guys are working well as a team, you know, and like if you guys are all jiving well, then like I think things are going to kind of extend out to your personal life as well, you know.
See, that's the part that I don't see. That's the part that I don't see. But maybe I'm just not, you know, in it enough to notice it. I don't like, man, we had like a
I think you've been alone too long, Patrick.
We had a days versus weekends like softball game. Like we had cookouts. We had a lot of informally organized outside of work stuff. Again, it's because we'd be so bored. We'd be like, "Hey, man, what are you doing this weekend?" Nothing. Me neither. Like, hey, you want to go to?
But how many of those? But not everyone in that crew had like a family that had to go to.
No, none of them.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. You know, I remember. You know, we were.
So
able
maybe
to
it was
do
more of a
that,
stage
but-
of life kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think that.
yeah. It's just you're the demographic of that place.
But are
is
the
just
young bucks hanging out? Are they
people.
hanging out?
I would say yeah,
probably.
but
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe you know what? Maybe I'm feeding into your pet peeve. I'm just
Biased
not reading the room.
observation. Yeah.
Well, I think we're all past that stage in our career where, like, you know, we're not necessarily the young bucks.
I'm trying to go
Yeah.
home and cook some chicken nuggets, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my air fryer.
Chicken nuggets, huh?
Bro, shout out to air fryers, man. Air fryers are game. If you're listening
Changed
right
my
now,
life.
I love
if you're
air
listening
fryers.
right now and you don't have an air fryer, like pause the pod, go on Amazonia and
Go buy one.
get a shout out to
Get one.
Ninja, this week's sponsor. Ninja's dual air fryer.
gosh.
You can
Ninja's got all the work.
Hey, you know what's another pet peeve of mine?
go ahead.
Is those air fryers are really small.
No, not mine.
Oh
Mine.
no, I think I have that Ninja dual air fryer. And that
I was
thing
just
is
kidding. I don't have
amazing.
that one. You know what I have? I got like the most like ratchet one. You know what I have? I got like the infomercial one. I got the Power XL. That's just legit.
I can do.
One
I
of my
can
good
cook.
friends gave me one for
Too
a wedding
small.
present, and it's too small. But it's the best thing. I love that thing.
I
You
can
gotta get a
cook
big
2
one.
full
Power
chickens
XL,
in my
shout
air
out.
fryer.
It's on sale. At
But they didn't
Target right
have
now.
it that big at that time though.
Yeah.
They're 2 separate chambers too, so I can have them cooking different things.
What do you cook on it,
Mm.
Eddie? What are you cooking on it? What's the last thing you cooked on it?
I think we did baked potatoes.
Let's
Put them
go.
in the air
You know
fryer.
what it does? It brings pizza,
Nice.
leftover pizza, back to life.
Oh yeah, it brings really any fried pizza, anything
You know what
fried.
brings,
It brings
leftover
back to
pizza
life.
back to life? The refrigerator.
Cold pizza.
You don't like cold pizza?
I'm not a fan of cold
bro?
pizza. I'm
What?
really not a
Cold
fan.
pizza.
No, it's got to be.
But the thing
hot.
is, you know what I've noticed over the years, though, when it comes to cold pizza, it can't be really good pizza. It has to be like Domino's,
yeah,
Papa
see,
John's type
I'm
of
kind
stuff.
of a pizza snob, so I
like the
my-
really good pizza.
like my gourmet, like
Like
The
Domino's?
cheese, like
mushroom,
really.
Have you had Domino's?
I don't know.
Domino's.
Yeah.
I love Domino's.
Yeah, dude. Real,
That one's
nice
delicious in the fridge.
A small little Italian joint. Domino's. It's legit.
Papa Juan's.
Oh, got that.
That's
All
Spanish.
better ingredients, right? Better pizza.
John, what's your pet peeves? You got anything? I want to know actually like what's annoying you lately, or what's annoyed you like recently.
Let's see. I've been getting annoyed lately with overbearing patient family members
Ooh.
No,
trying,
that's
like-
solid.
trying to
Solid.
insert
Solid pet
themselves
peeve.
into like
Solid.
yeah, like
They
today I had
think
a
they're
modified
physicians.
swallow. Yeah, exactly. I had a modified swallow, and I like this guy came with his dad. He's like demented, and he's standing behind the control room, and he speaks Spanish, so he's like kind of help translating. But I'm standing back there with him, and he's like, "Oh, he's masticating." I'm like, what, bro? He's like, oh, that one went down the esophagus. I'm like, just shush up because this is my
Oh boy was excited,
favorite
man.
thing to do right now.
He probably YouTubed it,
know,
and he's
but-
like, "Yeah, I got this."
But it's just, like you're like, hey, just let me do my job, all right? I get it.
It can be
you
hard
want
to
to be
focus.
involved.
He was
but
just
you're a little
he was just
overbearing.
looking at the thesaurus.
He's looking at the same one you're
And-
looking at, Eddie.
And he was like, I can't wait to use these words.
But I don't mind family members, but sometimes you're just like,
Yeah.
hey, let us do our job. You're not helping by over involving yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think John, I get what John's saying. I think he's being like super PC and not wanting to say
Oh yeah, you can't be dogging the
what
family, bro. Who's gonna do
really
that?
did. Exactly. You can't, but I get what he's saying, man. Some patients are just
I mean,
some family members are
you
really
got to
over there,
understand that
like,
they're very worried about
Yeah,
their
they're scared.
family member.
of course.
Oh,
And,
yeah, 100%.
But there is there's a time and place where I'm a professional. You got to
Yeah.
let me do my job.
Yeah. To me, in those situations, it's a communication.
Right. And also, people got to understand that with you doing that to me doesn't help me do the job, because now I'm worried about what you're doing, what you're saying,
Yeah,
and I have to
yeah.
be careful. And you know what I mean? Like it's
For sure.
Yeah,
I can't
it
fully
could
do the
distract you
job
from the job you're trying to do. Right?
Mhm.
when I'm like worried about you and trying to not to make the family member upset, and it's just
Yeah, you got enough on your plate. Now you have to kind of I
Yeah.
get it. I totally get it. All right.
So true.
I got some. I got a rapid fire list I'm going to give you
Let's
guys.
hear them. Let's go here.
We're going to use technology here. All right. And we have to do it.
All right.
We have to do it now because my free trial of this Chat GPT app is about to expire in like an hour. So here's what I do. I sign up for the free trial. And here's a pro tip. If you sign up for a free trial of anything, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or this Chat GPT app, you got to cancel it right away. Otherwise, you're going to get charged. They're counting on you forgetting and getting charged. So we got like an hour left. So I asked Chat GPT,
Yep.
the world famous Chat GPT, what are radiologic technologists annoyed by? And I'm going to go through the list, and I want you guys to go yay or nay, okay? Or feel free to weigh in.
Oh, that's a
All
good
right.
one.
And
Yeah.
right out the gate,
I
it
like
gave
it.
me 9 things according to ChatGPT. All right, number 1. Here are some of the common annoyances reported by radiologic technologists, including number 1, inadequate patient preparation. Radiologic technologists may get annoyed when patients do not follow instructions for exams properly, such as not fasting when required or not removing metal objects. Yay or nay? Pet peeve or
That's a
hey, we
dinger.
understand?
Nuisance.
Nah.
Pet peeve or pass?
Nuisance.
Yeah, I understand it.
Pet peeve, nuisance, or
Pass.
pass. All right, we'll give them a pass.
Pass, yeah.
Sometimes it's the communication on the hospital or the prep. Sometimes,
Yeah.
Or they're
As a-
just they're not thinking about it sometimes.
well, not only that, I don't know if you've been on the receiving end. When you get like prep instructions or pre-op stuff or whatever, man, the people throw it at you 100 miles an hour. They're like, "You gotta do this, show up here," and you're like, you just keep saying okay, so you can get out of the room, and then you're just like, "I'll read the paper."
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't.
And you're probably still worried about whatever you're doing the procedure for.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Number 2,
Pass.
peeve or pass. Number 2, lack of cooperation from patients. Some patients may be uncooperative during procedures, making it more challenging for a radiologic technologist to obtain the necessary images. This can be frustrating for technologists. Peeve or pass?
Peeve.
Say peeve.
Peeve, yeah.
Pass. I'm giving it a pass because, hey, they're injured, they're hurt, they just got in a car accident. I'll give them a pass because, if you're at the hospital, you're probably not feeling good.
Peeve.
And I don't know
No,
about
it's a
you.
peeve.
When I'm not feeling good, I'll say it.
Peeve.
We can bleep this out if you want, but I'm a big old
You're a big
jerk
giant
when
man,
I'm
baby.
I'm a jerk when I'm sick. All right. So the peeves
No,
win
listen,
that one.
this is
Right, I get it. Your leg is broke. Shut up.
Stop moving and yelling in pain.
Get outta
Exactly.
here. Yeah. All right. Number 3, rude or disrespectful behavior. Radiologic technologists may get annoyed when patients or even colleagues demonstrate impatience, rudeness, disrespectful behavior, or eating in the procedural area and not even caring that they
Oh.
notice that you really need to get in that with the patient. What the heck? This is really specific. But no, I'm kidding.
Dang.
Wow.
Rude or,
You're a
disres-
ChatGPT.
rude or disrespectful behavior from patients or staff. I'm going to say peeve.
Eve.
Yeah, you can't
Peeve.
be rude or disrespectful.
Peeve.
Even if you're hurting, even if you're
Yeah,
annoyed, even if you're stressed, you got to curb that. All right. Number 4,
A-holeness.
equipment malfunctions. If equipment malfunctions occur frequently, rad techs
Peeve.
may become frustrated as it can delay workflows and impact.
Peeve.
Sorry to everyone out there
Peeve.
with
I'll give it a
Shimatsu
pass.
stuff.
Peeve.
Peeve for sure.
100% peeve.
That's a bummer because we're so locked into our rhythm, and if something goes down, and hopefully you're at a place where it has redundancies, but sometimes you don't.
The worst is it always happens during a code, and everybody's staring at you. and
Ooh, I've never
you're
had
trying
that
to get
happen
the
during
X-ray.
code.
Oh, all the time at
Ooh,
the
that's
place
rough.
where I worked at.
Got
The
that.
machine happened to just, I needed to reboot. You got to reboot. And then they look at you and they're like, you don't know what you're doing? And it's like, I know exactly what I'm doing. The machine
Oof.
just needs to reboot. I'm
That's a
sorry.
hard. That's
Even the guy on the phone from India is telling me to reboot. Guys,
I'm telling
Turn it
you
off for 15 seconds.
that reboot time. I swear the Earth slows down. Like time is not.
Most of the
Dude,
time,
yes.
I want to tell you,
Yes.
most of the time it's in the digital. It's the cassette trying to connect to the portable machine.
Oh,
That was where I had-
that's brutal.
Almost, yeah, and it wouldn't recognize the cassette, so you have to reboot it to restart it, so it restart its
Oh,
connection,
that's like a
and then it would
that's like a
recognize it.
hard 3, 4, 5 minutes. All right, number 5.
Oh, exactly, and then you have the ER doctors just staring at you.
What do you do in that? Do you shut down and not say anything, or you just like, hey man?
I'm
You
just,
look at him,
I'm sorry.
wink, and be like, "What's up, bro?"
It's like
dumb, man.
healthcare, right?
Tell the
All right.
CFO we need better equipment.
Let's go. Number 5, limited resources or staffing issues. Rad techs may get annoyed when faced with limited resources and understaffing, as it can lead to increased workloads and negatively impact efficiency and patient care. I'm gonna go peeves on that bad boy.
I'm gonna say pass.
Pass?
What?
What?
Yeah. I think it's just an inherent thing. We almost constantly go into times where we don't have enough.
But what if
Employees.
Roosevelt called into work and he's just like took the day off work, he's chilling, but you guys are getting like swamped. You're like,
Little mental
Like
health
he's
day.
like, I'm sick, and then I see on his social media that he's at Disney.
he's like,
Riding rides.
he's like, oh, there's 30 cases in a day. Yeah, I'm not coming to work.
read that again,
Screw you, dude.
Patrick.
Pet peeve number 5, limited resources or staffing issues. Rad techs may get annoyed when faced with limited resources or understaffing, as it can lead to increased workloads and negatively impact efficiency and patient care.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
So
I
you guys
changed
are
my
making
mind.
it somebody calling out. It's not. What if it's just because they don't know how to pay people? They can't get people to hire hired.
But it's
We're talking
still
about
a
that.
pet peeve, right?
Pet peeve.
I'm gonna say it's not a pet peeve. It's a pass.
You're still not saying. You're still
You know
saying
what?
it's
No,
not
I
He's
don't think
convinced
it's-
me.
I
I'm
don't
changing
think-
it to pass.
Damn.
I'm changing it to pass because this is a legit question.
Yeah, but you're missing the.
What do you do? What do you actually do? Like how, if people aren't applying for the jobs you put out there, what do you do? What do you actually do?
But why?
specifically?
What's the reason? What's the
Probably
reason why?
money.
But yeah,
Probably
you gotta
money.
dive deeper on why.
Okay.
Or they're overworked. They just built 7 hospitals in the area. There's too expensive to live in the area.
Yeah.
Or
But what does your
I
manager
think
do?
that's a. I
Is
think
there a
that's a
program? Yeah.
very. I think that's just a very hard one. So I'm just gonna say pass because. I don't think it's a pet peeve.
I don't know what they do. I don't know how. How do
Angry
you
Eddie's
act-
not very angry right now.
forgiving Eddie. I like it.
Angry.
Right?
I know he's
Forgiving-
forgiving Eddie today. This episode's forgiving Eddie.
Empathetic Eddie.
His
I
pet
like it.
peeves.
Empathetic. Listen, these
Empathetic
managers,
Eddie.
these managers are in a tough spot. All right, number 6.
Before we go to number 6, which
Yeah.
I thoroughly love what's going on right now. I love this part. But I want to mention that here's another pet peeve of mine is that technologists blaming managers for stuff that they can't help.
Ooh,
Yeah, no,
that directly ties.
I
I can
in.
see that.
Managers cannot help staff
A lot.
shortage. Managers cannot help the pay. Managers can't help. They don't authorize that. the radiology director is authorized that.
They
radiology
barely have
director has a
control of that.
boss that has
The
another
directors
boss.
barely have
Exactly.
control.
Like chill out. You're preaching to the choir. You know what I mean? Like they understand. If they're a good director or manager, they understand. Trust me.
That's a
They
super
understand
good,
the situation.
That's a really good point, Roosevelt, because we've all been in leadership positions, and there's only so much you can do. And especially, I mean, it's just sort of the plight of radiology in general. It's if everything's going smoothly, it's already super hard to get stuff done in a hospital full of nurses and doctors. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult when everything's going normal.
Yeah.
But I don't quite understand why people. I mean, if you just stop and think, it's just like, hey, what can they actually do? I mean, it's a situation.
So
where they don't have much
to
of
play
anything.
devil's advocate, if the culture in your department is not like in a point to where the managers are appreciative or, you know, expressing satisfaction or giving praises for understanding that they're overwhelmed and understaffed and overworked and underpaid, if they don't even recognize that there's a problem, then there's reason to be upset with the manager and leadership.
Okay,
because they're
fair point. Fair point.
I see what you're saying,
because there is some
as a manager,
kind of malignant managers. Yeah, but there's bad managers out there.
I don't think they start out malignant. It's just like, how many times can I tell you? I don't know what to tell you. Nobody's applying for the spot, and it just creates an animosity. And I think no manager has the power to directly affect how I feel. I have the power to determine how I'm going to react to news or losses or rejections or whatever. And if things aren't going, if things aren't going like, I don't know, I've been in both worlds, so I'm a little more sympathetic for both sides, because it's really frustrating as a tech when you feel like you have no control of the situation. I promise you, the manager probably feels that times 100, because they're in a position where they could get stuff done, but it's not happening. And like I said, when everything's going smooth and budgets are good and people are applying for jobs, it's already really hard to get stuff done as a rad tech. Half the time, the folks that we're pleading to, they don't know what we do. They don't care what we do. It's super difficult, but no, I think
they're non-clinical.
Yeah, and now
they're non-clinical. They don't.
It's super hard. I don't know what the solution is. I mean, do you just pay everyone $70 an hour and everyone's going to be happy? Probably not. Probably not. All right, let's see.
Pretty happy. Number 6.
Let's go. Number 6. This kind of ties in inadequate communication, poor communication between radiologists, referring physicians, RAs, and other healthcare professionals may be frustrating for technologists, as it may lead to confusion or delays in providing accurate imaging reports. Pass. Yeah, things, it's a high octane environment. Sometimes you get bad comms. All right, we're all in agreement. Pass. All right, good. Number 7, difficult or challenging patients. Some patients may have conditions or behaviors that make it challenging for rad techs to perform their tasks effectively, which can be a source of annoyance. Pass. I mean, I'm not gonna get annoyed at a patient because I like it. I like the challenge of it. It's like, ooh, hey.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I get a Q Abdomen series on this one? We'll see. Shout out to Scotty Dog on Etsy. Best images possible. You can get a pin on that one. Let's see. I think a lot of folks are dealing with this right now. Number 8, long working hours and irregular schedules. Rad techs often work long shifts, including evenings, nights, weekends, and holidays with call. The irregular schedules associated with the job can sometimes be frustrating and affect work-life balance. Shout out to episode 4.
I think it can be frustrating, but I'm going to give it a pass because I don't think it's a pet.
It's not a peeve. Yeah, it's a pass.
But
here's what's frustrating.
I'd say peeve, right? Well,
here's what's frustrating to that, and this is the pet peeve here.
Yeah,
it's when only one person taking call and nobody else wants to take the call. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that makes sense.
Is that on the RA level? On the X-ray tech level, like you ain't got a choice. You're taking
X-ray.
a call.
CT, X-ray.
Yeah, if you're the only one stepping up and no one else is.
Yeah. There you go. If you're the only one stepping up to help take the call.
That would suck. Yeah.
Well, then that's why I believe that call should just be assigned. Like
Yeah,
the
no, I agree.
supervisor should just assign the call.
Yeah.
I mean, you can suggest something, and she can, or they can look into your suggestion. But I think you should be
Yeah,
assigned.
it's the only fair way to do it. Very good point. All right, let's see. Number 9 and the last one, according to GPT, which I don't fully understand. I think it's a robot. I'm not sure. Let's see. Number 9, continuous learning and certification requirements. Rad techs need to keep up with evolving technology and advancements in their field through continuing learning and certification process. This can be challenging and demanding, leading to some frustration.
Nuisance. It's for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You gotta grow. You gotta expose yourself to it. Don't blast past those PowerPoints on the old CEUs. Try to read them. Try to learn. Because you got to be relevant. I mean, you got to do it. You got to. You can't be.
We're literally in a profession about technology.
Yeah, that grows
Yep.
constantly.
Like you have to be
keep up with
relevant.
it. Yep.
All right. So, how would you rate ChatGPT's assessment of nine annoyances from RadTechs?
I mean,
It's pretty spot on.
Pretty damn good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty
Yeah.
good. Scarily
Gotta
good.
do another episode on that. Yeah.
Right. Literally, actually, I'm going to ask you right now. What should we do our next Rad Set episode on?
What are good.
Yeah, that's what. Actually, we got to do that now because the trial's about to run out in about 45 minutes. So we got. So listen, there's enough to be annoyed at. All right, there's all kinds of stuff. How you choose to deal with that, and I'm gonna say this right now. If you're super annoyed at work, and it's like getting harder and harder to show up to work, and you're just not looking forward to it, I always had a little rule with myself. If the days that I don't look forward to going to work started being more than when I look forward to going to work, time to move on. And right now, if you're not happy with where you're at the clinic or at the hospital, at the whatever, you have the power right now as a rad tech. You really do. You can go. Now,
I agree 100%.
There's extenuating circumstances, sometimes family, whatever. I get it. But, and depending on where you live, sometimes there's not a lot of options. But if you're at a place where there's options, you can tap into them. And leaving a hospital, leaving a comfortable job is one of the hardest things you can do. It literally, like, I would rather like move a house or I don't know. It's just super, super hard to leave that comfort zone. But right now, if you're super unhappy with where you're at, like I'm talking like, hey, it's affecting my mental health, leave. You have the options now. And that's not good. It's good to swing the other way where techs are not in as high demand and you're kind of stuck. I've been in both sides. I've been in the high demand and I've been where it's like, I hate where I work and there's nothing I can do about it because no one's hiring right now. So if your pet peeves are piling up, move on.
This goes to everyone: rad techs, all modalities, ultrasound techs, CVT, rad nurses,
RAs, doctors,
nurses,
rads, the whole nine.
Yeah.
You got options right now, and again, it's not going to be forever.
And if you do find yourself in a slump, when you're being all gloom, just open up your whatever podcast platform you got.
Let's go.
And then
Rose,
listen
I'm
to
telling you
Gather
well.
Jockeys.
Let's go. And when you leave that
I thought he was about
hospital,
to drop some knowledge, and then he
when
just
you-
came with a stick. That was
with
nice.
the plug, when you leave that hospital, I'll tell you what, I have gained some of the biggest financial raises in my life moving from one hospital to the next. When you get that big old raise, go and slice off about 10% for the old catheter jockeys. Buy us a drink.
Even leaving and coming back.
Fun
Yeah.
to 401k.
Leaving and coming back.
I've done
can be
that too.
beneficial.
I've done that too. I have left. I was like, oh, that was a huge mistake. I mean, I'm rich. I'm balling right now, but I'm very unhappy. So I'm going back to where I worked at before. So don't burn bridges.
Pet peeve on a leadership side, and to everyone out there that are planning to leave, make sure you do it properly and actually give your 2-week
Ooh.
notice and work your 2-week notice and don't burn
Or
bridges
more,
so
2
you
weeks
can
or
come
more.
back.
Be a
Exactly.
baller and give them a 4-week notice. I always went double the minimum. I really did. I think when I left like my main gig that I had for a long time, man, I gave them like 6 weeks, maybe even 8. you can give 2, but 2 kind of sucks now, man, because you know how long it takes to hire somebody nowadays. It takes
Heck
at
yeah.
least a month and a
Hire
half.
and train.
That's the biggest thing because I
You'd
really
be like RAs and give 4 months.
right.
Yeah.
You really get a sense
Awful.
of how a person really is when they're on their way out. Because some people,
Mm-hmm.
man, they went gangster on the way out. And I was like, whoa, all right, you're kind of a butthead. I thought you were cool, but you're just kind of a mean human being.
Please don't cut
do it
your
right.
time short. Don't screw over your colleagues. Don't be Jim Carrey and speak with your butt.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, because you just never know. I always left on great terms, and if you want like a hack, I stayed PRN every time I left because I was like, this might not work out, so I want to stay on the payroll.
Can't
really say goodbye.
Smart.
And It's hard.
Smart
man.
tip.
Plenty of peeves.
All right, man.
out
It
there
looks
to
like
be
we're
had.
gonna be. Looks like we're gonna come to a close. But
Go ahead.
do we have one more, Eddie? Empathetic Eddie.
I
Well,
do.
what's the name of the show,
Empathetic.
Patrick?
Story time with empathetic Eddie
Empathetic
and the
Eddie.
catheter jockeys.
Yeah,
I
Empathetic Eddie.
have an
And the-
angry Eddie, but I'm gonna save it for part 2. So
Let's
you
go.
guys-
Oh,
part 2.
You coming back, Playboy?
part 3.
Let's
part
go.
3.
Part 3. All right.
Let's
We got to get
go.
new chat GPTs for that one. We got to do
Let's
some list like that.
go.
Yeah, let's do that again.
Well,
That was
maybe
fun.
we'll just have guest host ChatGPT.
Oh, there you go. Actually, next
AI
episode will
John,
be completely
AI Little
AI.
John.
They'll probably be
We're not doing anything.
sentient by then.
Love it. Love you
All
guys.
right, guys.
good.
Thank
We're
you.
looking into that. Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Eddie, thank you for coming back.
Like, subscribe,
Idiot.
buy us.
Thanks
a
for
drink.
having me.
And sincerely, hey, thanks for listening. I know there's a ton of podcasts out there. The fact that you've taken time
Hey.
in your life. Oh, go ahead.
Let me.
Yeah.
I got to read a couple messages. I got to do it.
Oh, jam on it. Yeah.
Because if we
Would you
don't
like
do it
some-
now, we
Yeah.
will not. We won't do it on the other one. So before we
Flippy
keep on
floppy.
going, before we
Yeah.
end the show, I am going to read some DMs. Yeah.
Nice. Go for it. I love it. I love these, man.
Make sure you pull the right DM inbox up. This isn't the After Dark show.
All right.
Anal
So
probing.
here we go. All right. This is from Matt.
Matt
His
Tat.
name is Matt on Instagram. Matt Churiel. Hey, fellas, new listener, but a big fan of the podcast. I'm 37 from the Northeast and going through a career change while working full time and having a family. Proud to you.
Dang.
I've been knocking out prerequisites online or in the evenings and looking forward to X-ray school in the fall in 24. Hearing all your stories and experiences leaves me excited to get into the field. Thanks for all that you do. Take care,
Nice.
Matt.
Matt. Hey, good on you, man.
That's
Matt.
awesome.
I don't know how
Thank you,
do it.
Matt.
X-ray
We
school is
appreciate
hard.
it,
When you,
Matt.
X-ray school was hard when I was living at home with my mom, and I don't know how you do it with kids and a full-time job already. My hat's off to you, but you know, it's
Yeah,
pretty
extremely
amazing when you
hard.
can do stuff like that. It's going to be that much more rewarding. Shout out to
And I'm
Matt.
gonna do one more.
Yeah.
One more.
Do 10 more, man. I love these.
This is from Mark or Mark. Coming at you with a 5-star review. I listened to y'all on Spotify and I'm pretty sure I was y'all's 100th 5-star review. Woo
Let's
woo,
go.
100. Hundo. I start my X-ray program in about 2 weeks, and as nervous as I am, I'm more excited after discovering this podcast. I binged all episodes, and I have to say that Rosie, you're kind of my spirit animal. Keep up the
Let's
great work, you guys.
go.
Man, who wrote
Oh
this?
man, I'm a spirit animal.
Let's go.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like a fantastic guy.
Well, that's awesome.
But anyways, all right, Patrick, do
Let's
you
go.
kick it?
Matt Atat, Marky
subscribe.
Mark, thanks for listening.
Like,
If you guys want to
subscribe.
leave us a review, listen. If you leave us a review or DM us, we're literally going to read it on the pod. So it really does. It fires us up. So thanks for doing that.
Late
Thanks.
in
Oh, that's the
1895,
outro. Here we go.
Wilhelm Conrad first noticed
All right.
Little rusty.
Little rusty. Thanks for listening. Sincerely, I know you got a lot coming at you. You're listening to 50 million things. You're multitasking. You're working. You're socialing. The fact that you took time to pause and listen to us, knuckleheads, we really appreciate it. And huge shout out to Empathetic Eddie, man. Thanks so much for taking your time
Empathetic
I
Eddie.
know you work hard. You're taking call like a beast. And let's go. John's got a cat. Where did that come? Wait, was that a lizard? What was that? Sincerely, thanks for taking time, man. I know it's hard. You could be halfway to Snooze Town right now, but you're chilling here with the Calvary Jockey.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And we're out.
Howdy. Fight Howdy.
Audi 5000.
Thank you.
There you
Shout
go.
Shout out to Griff, the bearded dragon.
See y'all again.
G-Riff.
See you.
Grifter?
Next time I see you, I'm
Do-
eating lunch on your procedure table.
Part 3.
Will the next pet peeve episode be Angry Eddie's pet peeves or Empathetic Eddie's pet peeves? Who knows? It
You'll have
depends on
to tune in to
mood.
find out.
Let's go. That's perfect. Thanks, Eddie.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Later. Bye-bye.
Bye.